Happy Saturday morning, evening, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. For my lovely friend Karen, it's the morning time, and for me, it's the evening time. We're on completely opposite time zones. But the reason why you will see from the description that I'm going live today with Karen is because she has an amazing challenge coming up. And because the majority of my audience are coaches and service providers, being on camera and creating video content is super important for our business. It is what drives us forward. It is what will make you stand out from the crowd, because people get to see what it's like to be in relationship with you. They get to see what it's like to be coached by you, to like have consultations with you, and they really get to see your personality, because we can very easily hide behind written content. But when you're in front of people, there's no hiding, and you really can build up such gorgeous relationships. So Karen has a challenge coming up, and I wanted her to be able to share it with you because I know it's going to be of such benefit for you. So Karen, do you want to introduce yourself and then talk about the challenge?
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Joanne. I love video, and I find it kind of hilarious that I love it, because when I started out as a coach 8 years ago, I was such a perfectionist that I wanted my delivery of the script to be perfect. I wanted it to be verbatim. And what happened was, me as a personality, and you kind of know me, right? Like, I'm silly and fun and I'm laughing all the time. That was completely missing. I was like serious face, reading a script. It was terrible. And I did over 300 takes for a 2-minute video because I didn't know how to edit. And I realized over the years that it's more important to show up authentically. It's not necessarily getting the words right. It's connecting what you know, like all your wisdom, with who you are, your heart, your intuition, your gifts. And that integration point just happens to be the voice, which is how we express all of ourselves. I mean, through the fifth chakra, it's not all through the voice. And when you're able to drop into your heart and just connect, for me, I connect to my higher power, God, source, universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it. And I say a simple thing. I say, get me out of the way and speak through me. And then it just flows. And I'm not attached to how I look. It's all about serving. It's not about me. It's about who gets to hear what I have to share. And so it's so important to me because I know how uncomfortable it is. I remember wanting to do Facebook Lives, and I'd be like this with the go live button. I'm like, no, oh gosh, wait, I don't remember what I was going to say. What was I going to say? And I was so concerned with those words. So I know the pain of that. And I know what it can do for your business if you're a coach or a service provider. When you show up on video, like you were saying, like, people get to know you, and building that deep connection with your audience is the most effective way to create a loyal, aligned following, which then can become raving, grateful clients. So I'm doing this 5-day challenge. It's going to be amazing. It starts Monday. It's all next week, Monday through Friday. And it is about establishing that connection on video, about developing the courage, getting out of the way, calming your nervous system, trusting yourself, trusting that whatever comes through you is perfect, and really going deep. We're going to be delving into the subconscious mind and really looking at those subconscious beliefs and the programs that are running under the surface that we're not aware of, because the subconscious minds of our viewers are picking up everything. They're picking up all of our insecurities, all the masks we're wearing. As much as we try, I thought I was the best actress on the planet because I used to show up on video, but I'd be like, hi, I'm Karen Seltz. Da, da, da. I mean, I was always like one note. I was always up, and I was leaving behind my audience because I'm a deep person and I wasn't showing that. I go really deep. I get really vulnerable, really authentic. And I was leaving all of the people that were wanting that behind. So I'm teaching all of these subtleties in the next 5 days.
I love it. I love it. I love that you're talking about the subconscious and beliefs and all of that, because Well, I know you know this, but some people mightn't. I was painfully shy. Like I used to, just like you, the thought of going on video, like the sweaty armpits, but I would have the tissues under my armpits. I would change my top multiple times. I would like get really like creative with how I could block seeing how many people were on live with me because I knew it was going to freak me out. Like everything that I could do to manipulate the situation so I felt safe, like just to be able to go on camera was like incredible. And it's part of our business. Like we've got to be able to shift past it. And like I always think as well, and I'd love to know what you think, like if somebody has that like shy reserve, not necessarily bold like we are, but like that shy reserve, that actually is really endearing. It's not that you need to be like our personality style. Like people get to connect with who you are and how you show up and what makes you so amazing. Like what are your thoughts on that?
I love that you brought that up because research has shown that people with that personality type, strangers are more likely to trust them because they know they're not acting. And one of the things that I teach is say where you are. So if you're sharing something incredibly vulnerable that you're afraid to share, say that. I mean, I give an example. One time I was in a coaching mastermind and they asked me who I served. And at the time I said, I work with women that are really analytical and intelligent that are holding themselves back. And the coach said, well, where are you holding yourself back? And I'm like, crap. Like I knew it immediately. And because of all of my leadership training, I lean into those edges, those discomfort areas. So I went live and I said, I am really terrified to tell you this. I'm afraid you're going to reject me. I'm afraid of this and I'm afraid of this, but here goes. And I went live and I was not my bubbly self. And that video got more engagement, more comments, more DMs, more people reached out to me by text than all of my other videos combined.
Yeah.
So one thing about authenticity is people are smart. They're savvy. They know what's authentic and what's not. So if you're trying to be bubbly and that's not your personality, it's not going to connect. When you just are grounded in who you are and confident that who you are is just perfect, because it is perfect for your aligned clients. And think about who you're going to attract. If you are this bubbly person, you're going to attract people that aren't aligned and you are not going to enjoy coaching them. You're just not. So when you are yourself, you're going to attract people that you're going to love working with. So keep that in mind. There is no right way to do it. The only right way is to be yourself, and yourself changes all the time. So it's not like you're showing up one way all the time. You're letting them see all of you, all the different pieces, even the scary parts, the parts that previously you might have thought were unlovable. And we work on those subconscious things more deeply in my group coaching program, which is Video Authority Academy. But we'll work on getting like to the point where you notice them. You start becoming aware of these programs and what's been running under your level of consciousness. So you can start changing it.
Love that. What are the key takeaways that people will get from going to the challenge?
Yeah, that's a great question. So number one, we're going to start with really getting clear on who you serve and why that's important. Because some people have a good idea, some people don't. So even if you do, you're going to get clear on your why, which will give you the kind of courage to go forward and to actually get uncomfortable. Then we're going to do work on integrating the heart and the head, which I talked about. And part of that is some techniques that I've studied brain rewiring and mindset, psychology, spirituality for decades. And there are some really effective techniques for calming the nervous system that work immediately. And I'm going to share those. We're going to work on how to create engaging content that will stop your clients from scrolling. And then one of the things that I love is looking back at all the stories. A lot of us have these stories that were traumatic for us, or we feel like we were victimized. And I'm going to teach a technique for reframing those so that you actually can extract the wisdom. And then it's so funny how quickly it happens. Like people are like, oh, that made me who I am. That made me strong. It made me resilient. That made me the badass I am. They're like, oh my gosh, I never looked at it that way. And then they're able to tell it in a way that empowers and inspires other people that are going through the same things. And they can use that in their coaching. And then one of the other things is, I don't remember what day, I think it's day 2 or day 3. I'm going to teach a powerful, very simple way to introduce yourself. And when you do this, it gives you that ease at the beginning of the video. If you say the same thing every time, then you're started. A lot of times it's just knowing where to start that prevents people from pushing live or record. So once they have that, and it's not scripted, I don't teach anything scripted. It's all about trusting yourself and embodying it, because it's got to come from your heart, no matter what your heart looks like.
You know, it's so funny what you saying that. I was like, my clients used to ask me, you know, how do I do it where I just speak like so freely on camera? And I would say to them, I was like, I kid you not, like I prepare beforehand. Don't get me wrong. It's on the back of an envelope though. So shh, don't tell anyone. Or like a little notebook. It's nothing really fancy. I will always have it in my hand. I don't think I've ever used it.
Yep.
It's like, you know, if you're walking on stage and you've got like the pen or the microphone or something in your hand, it's like, I have it there because it's there, but I don't think I've ever actually used it, because I love that. It's like, it's trusting that your audience are going to hear exactly what they need to hear, and that you know what the person in front of you, like you're looking at their heart, you're looking at their soul, you know what they need to hear. And that when you're focusing out, it just creates that, and that's where the bond comes in. I love that you're doing all this.
Yeah. And it's really interesting you say that too, because the only way to get good on video is to practice being on video, right? So we're going to have a private Facebook group, and people get to practice in there. And it's like our little cozy nest of supportive people. So there aren't going to be any haters. That's simply not who I am. And that's not who I'm going to attract, nor would I tolerate it. So people get to practice in there. And what happens is when people speak, the people that are like their target audience will say, oh my gosh, I really needed to hear that. When you said this, it opened up this for me. And then people get the actual experience of how powerful they are and how much what they have to say, their wisdom, their knowledge, their gifts will impact the world. And that is the foundation. And that builds every single day. It's going to build. And then they can take that out into the world, because my mission is to empower coaches to get their message out into the world, to create a ripple effect of unconditional love, of awakening, of whatever it is that your area of genius is. The world needs it. And if it's in you, you have everything you need to get it out there, and the world needs it. And I am here to nurture that and to cheerlead. And it's so important, because the other thing is, if you don't do it, which I didn't, I held back for a really long time. I became clinically depressed. I became addicted. I was miserable to be around. And there is the opposite ripple effect, the one we don't want. And I don't want that. And a lot of times people's bodies can break down if they're keep suppressing their gifts and their calling. And I know it's scary. And I address that. I'm doing this challenge, but I just did a video that people get to watch before the challenge. And I talk about, the 3 main limiting beliefs that come up and address them so people can start being aware, because they're going to come up, right? So it's just being aware of them and making a different choice. And you can't make a choice if you're not aware of them.
Love that. Love that. Okay. So then the details of the challenge. So it starts on Monday for 5 days. And do people need to be there live? Can they watch it if they're not able to attend at the time?
Yeah, both. So I always recommend being there live so that your voice gets to be heard. You can be commenting, you can be giving me feedback, you can be getting feedback. And of course, it will be recorded. And it is 10 a.m. to 10:30 Pacific time, 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. And of course, you can watch the replays, and they will be in the Facebook group. And then I'll also send out recordings.
Awesome. So for anybody who is in my time zone, 10 a.m. is 6 p.m. our time. Or if you're in like the Netherlands, that kind of way, it's 7 p.m. your time.
Oh, thank you for that.
You're welcome. I know all the time zones at this stage. Oh, I love it. So the link is here. It's either down or above, whether you're watching on YouTube or on LinkedIn. It's there. So make sure that you click on it. I'll be sharing it again tomorrow. And like, I adore Karen, and I think she's like so amazing in what she does. You've been a part of my transformational journey. Like, Karen got to see where I was before and where I've gone to afterwards. So I know how amazing she is. So if you're a coach, if you're any sort of a service provider that has an online element, or like you're going to be creating advertisements that require you to be on video, come to this. No matter whether or not like you feel like you're shy, you lack confidence, you're feeling a bit insecure, like if you're like me and like was worried about your teeth being on camera, like whatever it is, come to this and see what's possible for you. Because if you hold yourself back, you're never going to know, like Karen said. But at least if you put yourself in a position where you're surrounded by like such an amazing community that are creating the same thing that you are, you're in a really safe space. So give yourself permission to like do it and go for it and just see what happens. Nothing bad can happen from you doing this. So definitely click on the link and go join Karen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joanne. This has been so much fun.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait to be your challenge. I'm going to.